Hello. Okay, so before I do my video, please pray for um, one of my friend's family that she passed. I found out last night that she passed, and I always tried to share Christ with her, and I hope and pray that she came to Christ before she passed. But um, she was a really nice person, and I hope I can go to her funeral. Because she was a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know if they allow other people to go. I'll just have to check. So if I can, I would like to pay my respects. But yeah. So anyway, just pray for her family. She was a really sweet person, and she will be missed. So I'm going to do various instructions, and this is just various instructions on things that God wanted the Israelites to do. Okay. So, you shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God a bull or sheep which has any blemish or defect, for that is an abomination to the Lord your God. If there is found among you within any of your gates which the Lord your God gives you, a man or a woman who has been wicked, in the sight of the Lord your God, is transgressing his covenant, who has gone and served other gods and worshipped them, either the sun or the moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it is told you, and you hear of it, then you shall inquire diligently. So you didn't just say, okay, this is what happened. You inquire diligently, make sure that's what's going on. Okay. And if it is indeed true and certain that such an abomination has been committed in Israel, then you shall bring out to your gates that man or woman who has committed that wicked thing, and shall stone to death that man or woman with stones. That's why, I gotta blow my nose, excuse me 1 minute. Okay. So that is why, when Jesus was walking the earth, and they said, hey, Moses said we should do this, okay? And Jesus said, whoever was the one that didn't sin, throw the first stone. And so they're like, well, we've all sinned, we can't do that. So, whoever is deserving of death shall be put to death on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. He shall not be put to death on the testimony of 1 witness. Because see, anybody could lie and say, oh, this happened, so that's what. The hands of the witnesses shall be the first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So you shall put away the evil from among you. If a matter arises which is too hard for you to judge between degrees of guilt, or for bloodshed, between one judgment or another, or between one punishment or another, matters of controversy within your gates, you shall arise and go up to the place which the Lord your God chooses. And you shall come to the priests, the Levites, and to the judge there in those days, and inquire of them. They shall pronounce upon you the sentence of judgment. You shall do according to the sentence which they pronounce upon you in that place which the Lord chooses, and you shall be careful to do according to all that they order you. According to the sentence of the law in which they instruct you, according to the judgment which they tell you, you shall do. You shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left from the sentence which they pronounce upon you. Now the man who acts presumptuously and will not heed the priest who stands to minister there before the Lord your God, or the judge, that man shall die. So you shall put away the evil from Israel. And all the people shall hear and fear, and no longer act presumptuously. So they had to know for sure, like, this was going on. Don't just lie and say, oh, this is going on, because then somebody's death is on your hands. When you come to the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and possess it and dwell in it, and say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are around me, you shall surely set a king over you, whom the Lord your God chooses, one from among your brethren. You shall set as king over you. You may not set a foreigner over you, who is not your brother. But he shall not multiply horses for himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt to multiply horses. For the Lord has said to you, you shall not return that way again. Neither shall he multiply wives for himself, lest his heart turn away, nor shall he greatly multiply silver and gold for himself. So just take what you need, kind of thing. Don't take, why do you need so much? Also it shall be, when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write for himself a copy of this law in a book, from the one before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, and be careful to observe all the words of this law and these statutes, that his heart may not be lifted above his brethren, that he may not turn aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, and that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, and he and his children in the midst of Israel. So, even the king, he had to follow the law. He had to, do the right things. If he didn't, how could he expect the rest of Israel to? He couldn't. So, that's what that is. So, anyway, so I pray for, all of our leaders, from statewide to nationwide. I pray that, that everyone comes to Christ and rules with their authority in such a way that honors Christ. Okay. Not make laws that's going to dishonor him, So, anyway, that's about it. But, like I say again, just pray for, I don't want to say her name on YouTube because I don't know, her family might want things private. So, but God knows who she is, so, and who her family is, and, people that know me know who it is, so just be praying for her family. Thank you. Bye, Facebookers and YouTubers.